Hey guys, what is up, mates? Here doing another World of Tanks console review. Hey guys, here we are at the Jagdtiger at Tier 9. This is the German tank destroyer I was really excited to get my hands on. Let's go ahead and get right on into the packages. Let's go ahead and cut to the chase. Stock, the Jagdtiger comes with a 650 horsepower engine. It will come with the 128mm L55, 5.50 rounds a minute. Your penetration will be 246mm of penetration, and your damage will be 490 average alpha damage. Aiming time will be 2.29, and your accuracy will be 0.34. Your stock track traverse will be 18 degrees a second, and your gun traverse will be 26. And your view range will be 390 view range, and your signal range will be 310. Full disclosure, I did not play this machine stock. I just make it a habit not to play a tank stock at Tier 9. I just think it's nothing but frustration. If I was to give advice here right now, I would say save up enough free XP so you can buy the first package, and this machine can really become usable. First package will upgrade your engine, which will give you 870 horsepower. Your gun will remain unchanged. Your tracks will now be 21 degrees per second. That will be your track traverse. And your signal range will be boosted to 415. I would have to say, don't expect any more upgrades in terms of maneuverability or speed with this machine. That's it. That is it. 870 horsepower. I expected this thing to get the same 1,200 horsepower engine that the E50 and the E75 got. I was kind of surprised by that this machine got 870. This was all it got. It got the same engine as the Jagdpanther 2. And so I was kind of shocked about that. So don't expect this thing to be a lightning bolt out of spawn or anything like the Jagdpanther 2 was. The gun, you should be fine with the L55. What you should be doing when you get the first package is perfecting the playstyle of this machine, which is you play second line, you snipe over the shoulder of your heavy tanks, and you just DPM anybody that's stupid enough to try and do anything crazy. Your final package, though, is what really makes this tank just tick. Your gun will be fully upgraded now. You will now have the 128mm L61. Your rate of fire will be 5.26 rounds a minute. Your penetration will now be 276. Your average alpha damage will be boosted up to 560. And your aiming time will be 2.29. And now your accuracy will be 0.33. And your signal range will now be boosted to 710 meters. The positives of this machine really are the gun. The gun is really what sells it. I can tell you right now, the gun was everything as advertised. It's accurate, it pens, it smashes, it's an intimidator. That's exactly what the gun is. It makes people back up in fear. The armor on this machine, I would have to say, wasn't quite as advertised. I mean, the superstructure was about what I expected. You are going to have to be careful against Tier 9 and 10 medium and heavy tanks, and of course tank destroyers. There's going to be machines that are going to be capable of penning that superstructure without premium ammo, so you have to be aware of that. That is a possibility, and you got to know when to just back off if you're hull down and just accept it. You know, okay, somebody's got an in for me, they're firing premium rounds, I got to back up and reload anyways. That's about the only reliable armor on this machine, because I can tell you right now, the hull is utter crap. In my experience shooting at these things since the World of Tanks 360 beta, these things are not an issue to pen. If their hull is exposed, you're going to cut through them, especially if you're in a Tier 9 or 10 medium. Tier 8 heavy tanks have guns that are more than capable of going through this thing's hull if you're not careful. So pushing in this machine is not advisable. The only time you can ever be a bully and really truly be a frontline assault tank or assault gun is if you're going up against Tier 8 or Tier 7 tanks. Tier 8 tanks, like I said, they are capable of penning this thing's hull, but how many Tier 8 drivers really want to be in front of this machine with a 128? Most don't want to be in front of you at all to begin with. So yeah, it kind of, you take the good with the bad. They really don't want to be in front of this thing. And of course, Tier 7s are going to be terrified of you. Otherwise, that's the only way you're ever going to be directly confrontational. For the most part, the way you play the Jagdtiger is you're going to commit to one side of the map because it's not quick enough to relocate like the Jagdpanther 2. You're going to support your teammates. You're going to sit up over their shoulder. You're going to play second line, and you're going to snipe and snipe and snipe and make people pay for it, their mistakes. I'm going to go ahead and switch to some gameplay. I'll catch you guys back here in a second. Okay, guys, here we are on El Haluf Standard Battle. Let's go ahead and get the equipment out of the way. I have binos on this machine. You're standing still most of the time in a tank destroyer. You're playing second line. You're sniping. It makes sense, I feel. I do run the rammer on this gun. I wanted to increase the reload as much as possible. If I had to do it all over again, I would remove the camo net. Yes, I know I have it equipped on here, but if I had to do it all over again, I probably would remove it. This machine does not have a good camo rating. It's bigger than some heavy tanks, so you're not going to hide this machine as effectively as you think you would. If I had to do it all over, I would run vents, maybe a gun lane drive. It just comes down to what I honestly think would be most useful, but camo net, not advisable, but if you feel good running a camo net, run it. Jagdtiger, the first thing I would say about this machine is notice its speed. It's not incredibly fast. I mean, I'm averaging 28, 29, maybe 30 kph on average. It's not very fast, and even then it takes a little while to get there. This isn't a very quick machine. I know T95 and Tortoise drivers would like to have a word with me on the definition of slow, but compared to the Jagdpanther 2, this machine is pretty damn slow. I would say Ferdinand drivers are probably going to be a lot more easier. It's going to be a lot easier for them to adjust to this machine than Jagdpanther 2 drivers, which is where I is coming from, the Jagdpanther 2. So when you go to use this machine, you should go where you see your heavies going to fight. You should never try to go off and do your own thing. The only exception to that rule is maybe if your mediums and scouts are going out, in which case you just shoot at whatever the hell they spot. You should always go where your team is going. This is a very good second line supporting assault gun. That's exactly what it is. Starting off here, I was thinking about getting, you see me, I went a little bit wide of the T29 here. And I was thinking about getting hull down because I wasn't too sure what the fighting was going to be like. I wasn't too sure if the enemy team was really going to push hard. And even if I got in that position, it was only going to work if the enemy team pushed hardcore. So it wouldn't have been a good position at all. So as you can see there from the beginning, I was looking for a hull down spot. And that's what you kind of look for. Even if you can't, don't sweat it. You can still get this machine and you can still put it to work. So the rule of thumb always in a Jagdtiger is let your teammates get all the attention. Your teammates are your most reliable armor. That's a very mercenary way of looking at it, I know. But the hull is utter crap on this machine. And your teammates are very appreciative as long as this gun is singing and it hits somebody and starts smacking them. When you start smacking the enemy team, your teammates will cut you slack. T32 here I think is getting a little froggy, so I decide I'm going to try to snap one right into his cheek. Sure enough, that's where we plant it. There goes a quarter of his health. And we're sitting back and we're going for a reload. Here I got a little too overconfident. I got a little too aggressive. I pushed up. And I was wanting to hit that E75 desperately. And I was even thinking about pushing up and just coming up hull down on these guys. I get smacked here by the Waffle Panzer IV. So I was afraid of that. And I'm a little ticked off at my teammates sitting on the corner in the A1 area. I felt like they should have been able to prevent that. But, you know, I can't tell exactly what's up there. So it could be bottom tier guys and they're just afraid to stick their heads out, in which case you can't blame them. But they're doing what they can. I can see tracers going back and forth, so I know they're exchanging fire with these guys. So at this point I'm waiting on the Waffle Panzer IV, and that's probably where I could have set if my team didn't do this. My team ends up deciding we're going to go ahead and push, and I go ahead and say sure. I'd be happy to push with you, and that's what you got to keep in mind. Try to avoid making pushes in the Jagdtiger. The only time you should really ever push is if you run up on Tier 7 and Tier 8 machines, in which case you got a chance to bounce shots. We hit the Waffle Panzer IV. He's going to return shot. Notice I'm trying to angle here, and he just cuts right through me. Yeah, I know. That gun is just effective, assuming he has the 128 as well. He's going to have no trouble cutting through me, and yeah, I know that gun is that damn good, but I was trying what I could, so that should illustrate something to you. No matter how much you try to angle this machine, a lot of cases you're just not going to bounce shots. The hull is utter dog crap. Just accept it. I get myself into a nice hull down position here. And I'm going to support my E75 and my Tiger 2 here. We put one right into this KV4. Rip about 574 health off of him. And as you can see here, the reload is nice and healthy. We want to hit the E75. The gun's not quite ready. He donks a shot into the ground. I wasn't quite sure, if I was in a really good hull down spot, but the fact that E75 shot the ground told me I must have been giving him enough of an issue that he had to aim it. Plant one right into his lower glacis. Let me correct myself. I must have given him enough of an issue that he probably felt like he couldn't aim it, and thus he rushed his shot. We hit the Waffle Panzer IV right into his turret. He bounces, so I knew I was in a good spot. I knew I was able to protect myself here. And now it's just a matter of being patient. I was going to pop the E75, but our IS here got a little too overconfident, stuck his head out, and we have to wait. We hit the E75, kind of a low damage roll, 426. But, you take the good with the bad. I mean, this E75 is not exactly thrilled with the idea of poking his head out. My gun's loaded now. I'm daring him at this point to stick his head out. So I'm waiting patiently. And I notice my team is going to flank, so it's a matter of time. This guy's dead, and he doesn't even know it. Eventually, we see him just back off completely, and we knew right there it was a jailbreak. We could do what we had to do. And the team was going to do the rest. Another thing you're going to have to accept in the Jagdtiger, if you are playing a second-line role like I'm suggesting you should, a long-range second-line role, you are going to have situations where the average game in this machine is going to be 2,000, and I admit this gameplay was not some MLG, freaking highlight reel-worthy, kind of game. I only got, I think, 3,700 damage. I know players have done much better in this machine than that, but I felt like this gameplay would show you exactly typical play and the typical mistakes you got to avoid, like I did where I showed my hull to that Waffle Panzer IV. Granted, I didn't see him, but still, that's something you have to be aware of. The hull is utter crap on this machine. What you're going to see here often is typically you'll get around 2,000 damage done, assuming your team runs into a choke point, and they'll get the pushing, assuming everything goes well. And you're not going to be able to catch up with them because they're just moving along that damn fast, and you can't catch up. You just don't have enough speed and maneuverability. Alright guys, this gameplay is actually coming to an end. I will catch you guys later. Peace out.